Yo, another lock-in day. Um, yeah, so this was directly after the last week's video. So I've had two lock-in days in a row. And yeah, definitely I kind of plan my week and my time around having one lock-in day per week, where I kind of sprint. Like I drink a lot of coffee in the morning. I spend 8 to 10 hours like just full locked in, looking at my computer, nothing else. Um, and the reason I do this is because I find it's like the most optimal use of my time. Because if I've only got, 8 hours or one day a week where I can actually fully focus on Rocket, it means that I should probably, use the most amount of time in that day that I possibly can. But today I didn't, or this week I didn't sort of plan it quite as well because I've had 2 days in a row. So I think that strategy is really good if you've only got one day, but as soon as you add another day in there, like it gets much less sustainable. So let's talk about what I did today. So the game is actually looking different. Probably not that different. Uh, a couple of like big features, or not necessarily big, but immediately noticeable, is there's a new kind of, I guess, accessibility option where you can just reduce the amount of clicking that you do in the game. This was just done because I know some people play the game on a laptop, so they've got a trackpad, so it's a lot harder. Or they might not have as much experience with clicking in incremental games like this, so it can be a little frustrating to play the game, because it's very much tailored to my personal experience, and I've got quite a lot of experience with like clicking and incremental games, and plus I'm the developer. So I added that, and then the other sort of bigger feature that I did add today as well is a recap on the day. So this actually took a little while, but not quite as long as I thought it would. Godot is actually like awesome with kind of making this UI really easily and very expandable, and I don't have to do a lot of effort in terms of like creating scroll boxes or anything like that, which I did in Fish TDX, which was just, it would take up not just like days, almost like a week or 2 weeks, setting up UI and making the scroll boxes work properly and stuff like that. So this just all works straight out of the box. And something like, I'm sure you probably know this, as the viewer, but I don't have much experience with Godot, and I had no idea that it's actually so incredibly flexible in terms of like, let's see, it does what's called, I think it's called like hot loading. So it's where if you change something in the editor, it actually changes it in the running game on the side here. So you can see if I change the visibility of the header, it changes it in real time. And so this is super helpful for when I'm like ideating and creating a UI that I enjoy or that I like. I'm able to like easily make some movements, such as maybe like moving the day over here. And I can see it immediately updated. So it's pretty cool. And then I also did some other changes to the game, like the backend itself. So actually, most of my work was done sort of in stuff that won't actually really be seen, but is super good practice, I think, for the future. So the big thing being, I can now manage all the states in this new object I've called a managed state. So it pretty much says, it gets a bunch of information. So it gets what button should be clicked, what state that button should emit, what sound effect it should create, what mineral should show up in the inventory, what day requirement it needs to be in order for that button to reveal itself. So for an example, like this ship is a button, and that's a managed state. So that's this one here. And so you can see like I'm able to, just in this little state here, I'm able to like define a whole bunch of Boolean logic. And it means that it's all kind of centralized in this one place, and I can easily come in here and make any changes if I'd like. And previously it was done, these were all like area 2Ds, and I had like collision shapes for them. But now it's all done like super nice. There's another really cool feature in Godot, which is called a bitmap, which is just a black and white image. Pretty much the black parts of the image is where you can click, and the white is where you can't click. And so what actually happens is on runtime, it takes this image of a ship and it just generates a bitmap from it. So I don't have to do any manual work and saying, oh, you can't click here, but you can click here. It's all just done automatically. So that's really cool. Um, that's probably they're the main things that yeah, worked on today. Yeah, as I mentioned, so yeah, 2 lock-in days in a row. Definitely kind of it got to me. And you can see like it's 3:30 right now, and I'm sort of like I've kind of checked out mentally, and it's kind of this awkward point as well where I do really want to add a new feature, but I I also want to do that when I've got the full headspace and capacity to think about all the extra edge cases. Because I know that if I do add a new feature now, it'll immediately make the game unstable until I fully implement it. So I thought best to just leave it for a future day where I can think a bit more. I have thought a bit about what I want this new feature to be. Um, I thought of like something would be super cool if it happens like every 7 days or once every month or something like that. I think that might be a little too infrequent. But yeah, and then in terms of what that thing will actually be that happens once a week, still not super sure yet. I do kind of want to add something a little different this time because a lot of it's so far it's pretty basic. I want to add something that's maybe you might not expect, so maybe like a risk reward mechanic or something like that. But um, yeah, I think that's it for this video. Again, just wanted to do a massive thank you and shout out to the member of the channel who joined yeah, earlier this week, or when you're watching this, they would have joined a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, absolutely massive support. It's only a couple of bucks, but yeah, kind of that messaging, and it gets me that little tiny bit closer into being able to do this full time. So big thank you to them. And yeah, and these videos are going to start being released a week early. So if you do want to see the next video a week early, join as a member. You obviously don't have to, but yeah, it's mainly just a token of your appreciation. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, see you.